So we're about to jump into a role play with Christian and Alex. Alex is going to be the closer for a real estate investing offer. And Christian, he is going to play the prospect here. And we're going to break down the subtle nuances of the discovery of a high ticket sales call. We're also going to show you what you need to be doing on the discovery so you can close more sales. So without any further ado, Alex, kick it off with your opening question.
So, Christian, in your own opinion, what is the biggest reason why you want to get into real estate investment right now?
So my mic was off, but so I just been seeing it that there's a lot of people doing it, and I want to make a lot more money. I want to create wealth. I want to create a lot of wealth for my family. Um, my my kids are getting older, and I like to also spend more time with them. And this seems to be like a vehicle where you have a lot more freedom if you set up if you set it up properly. As as far that's what it seems from afar.
Makes total sense. So it sounds like you're looking to not only make more money, but also unlock more freedom so that you can, spend more time with your kids.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. And how much time are you spending with your kids right now?
Um, Probably on the weekends. Mostly on the weekends. I mean, I put them to bed at night, right, when I come back from work. But on the weekends, we go out to the park. We do just family related things, and yeah, that's typically when we do.
Okay, so let's start within the week. I mean, in the week when you're only seeing them when you put them to bed.
Yeah.
Okay, how long does that take?
Um, we have dinner and then because I get home like typically like 7:30-ish, 7-ish. And then we have dinner. Like the wife, puts everything well, she's already she already cooks dinner and we have dinner and then the kids gotta be home but gotta be bed by 9:30-ish, the latest.
Got it. So in the week, probably around t 2 hours a night that you actually get to see them.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Okay. And you said you get to spend more time with them on the weekends. So on the weekends, how much time are you able to actually spend with your kids?
Mostly Sundays. Mostly Sundays. Like Sundays is the only day that I have with them.
Oh, okay. How much
Yeah.
time last Sunday did you get to spend with your kids?
I mean the whole day. I mean Sunday I try to not do much of work related things. But yeah, Sunday is typically our day. We go out for breakfast, or maybe we have breakfast at the house, and then we'll either go to the movie theaters, parks. I mean my kids are young, so
Okay.
typically yes, Sundays is the day.
Okay. Makes total sense. So I'd assume, you're spending around 12 hours on a Sunday with your kids ballparking.
Yeah, yeah, give or take the whole day.
Okay, got it. So 10 hours in the week, then 12 hours on a Sunday. Would you say that's average most week, that amount of time you get to spend with them?
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
So 22 hours a week on average you're getting to spend with your kids. You said they're getting older. How old are they both?
4 and 5, two little girls.
Four, 4 and 5. So how long has it that has it been that you've only been able to spend, 22 hours with your 4 and 5 year old for?
Probably since they were born.
Oh, so for the whole of your kid's life, you've only been able to spend 22 hours with them on average per week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is that taking away from?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, are you happy with the amount of time that you're getting to spend with your kids on average?
No, no. That's why I'm here, man. I want to see if I can do something different where I'd be able to just have more time with them. And even my wife as well. I think she needs more time. Like she always says that I'm not around. So, anyways, that's why I like to do something different. Just
Okay,
wondering like what you guys do and stuff. So yeah.
for sure. And I can definitely walk you
Hang-
through, the ins and
Yeah,
outs of what we do. But
pause. Do you know why he's nudging you and saying, "Yeah, I kind of just want to know what you do"? Do you know
because
why
I'm
he's
holding his
saying?
feet to the fire.
Say that again.
Is it because I'm starting to like hold his feet to the fire?
Ironically, the opposite. Ironically, we're dancing around a little bit too much now. Like
Mm,
we got a very surface level pain, which is kids and amount of time with the kids. This is a real estate offer. These guys are usually going to be a little bit more professional, and they think they're even more professional than they are, than another offer that might be selling e-com or whatever. And so we need to move the convo forward a little bit quicker here. Okay. So as an example, when you got to the it's been their entire life, 4 to 5 years, that was the opportunity for you to show some realism to the prospect. Show the prospect that you're not fucking around. And that would have kept the prospect engaged. When he said, "Oh, it's been their whole life," you kind of just moved on from that. You didn't really challenge him on that. And so when the prospect sees that you're not willing to challenge them on things that are obviously something that they need to be challenged on, they kind of start to lose respect, and therefore they want to take the frame. They want to be like, "Hey, just tell me the price." So what I would have said is something like this. Okay, so you've just told me that it's been their entire life, 4 years, 5 years, both your little girls, that you haven't spent more time with them. How long has it been a problem for you that you weren't spending more time with them, Christian?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um, that's a good question. I mean, probably since the day they were born. I don't think it's, yeah, I've always wanted to have kids. I just find myself not even be able to raise them right now. How I want.
So you're telling me that it's been a problem for you for the last 4 years and 5 years of your little girl's life that you weren't giving them more time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember growing up,
Well,
my,
hang on. We'll get into your story here in a minute. What I care about right now is your little girls. Why, if it's been a problem for 4 years, 5 years, their entire life, have you not figured this out for 5 years, half a decade?
I, I mean, I just got to do what I got to do. I'm working, you know, I'm working. I'm having to put food on the table. I'm the only provider in the house.
Well, you can
My,
you can put food on the table and you can provide, but you cannot be spending enough time with your kids. Are you telling me that you don't believe that there's a reality where you can do both? You can put food on the table and provide and spend more time with your kids?
oh yeah, I mean, most likely. I mean, that's why I'm here. I want to
And,
see.
and how long have you, if you're being honest with me and being honest with yourself, how long have you known that there was a better way?
I don't know, probably the last 2 years, I've seen I've seen people just I saw a cousin get into real estate and now he has all the time in the world with his family.
Okay,
So
so for 3 years, you
yeah.
didn't think that you didn't consider that there was an alternative way to make more money and be there for your kids more. But for the last 2 years, basically other people showed you from afar that, hey, you could be doing more. Is that what you're telling me?
y- Yeah.
Okay. And so then for the last 2 years, why haven't you been able to figure this out for 2 years?
I don't think I just put the time. Like
Okay,
I
pause. We can stop the role play. You see how I'm
mm,
gonna just keep digging until he has to fucking cough up something.
I love that, especially because he didn't answer that first off, like, why haven't you figured it out? You didn't leave. Like
No,
you
like
didn't
because
let him off the
because
fucking hook.
I need to get to a real conversation. And that first word that just came out of Christian's mouth just at the end, like, I didn't put in the time. That's the first second the sales call has begun. Everything else until then is I'm just trying to get to the truth. Because unless you get to the truth, you'll get objections. They won't give you their credit card. They won't buy it. They won't take action. You can't get to ownership. You can't get to responsibility until we get to the truth. The truth is that he hasn't really tried because it just
100%.
didn't make sense. 4 or 5 years, little girls, he's not been spending the time. Whereas as soon as we missed that kind of like, absurdness, we're going to lose the frame. The prospect's going to try and take the call. Does that make sense?
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
All right. So let's go back. You don't have to do it the way I did it, by the way. There's like 100 different ways you could have done what I did. You don't even need to challenge the prospect in the way that I challenged, but we need to go deeper. There's multiple ways you could do that. So let's go back to trying to think where I cut you off. I can't exactly remember where I jumped in. He told you that the little girls are 4 and 5. Was that it? I think he just said that the little girls are 4 and 5. Was there something else you asked
So
after that?
we found out that he was only spending 22 hours a week on average with his kids for the whole of their life, pretty much.
That was it. It was the whole of their life. And then we kind of just didn't go deep enough after that. So jump back into knowing that it was the whole of their life, and then we'll go from there.
Got it. So, Kristen, you've touched on the fact that for the whole of your kid's life, who are at 4 and 5 years old right now, you've only been able to spend an average of 22 hours a week with them. So how long has this been a problem?
The last, this is the last, I mean, since they were born, man. I've always wanted to like actually like raise them, but I'm always working.
Got it. And so if this has been a problem for the past 4 or 5 years of your kid's life, why have you not figured this out yet?
I don't think I put um I don't know if it's effort, but I mean I've just been just working a lot, and I'm the sole provider for my family, and just work consumes me all day. I may have only might be on Sundays where I'm actually able to spend time with them. I haven't really like put the time to look into what else I can be doing.
Got it. So are you at a point now where you're no longer willing to let your life be consumed by work and you're actually ready to start making the time that you want for your kids?
Well, sure. I mean, that's why I'm here,
Okay.
trying to see what else I can do.
Why, you've let this go on for the past 4 to 5 years, so why now though?
I don't want to miss out on my kids' lives. I mean, let alone the wife as well. I barely have time for ourselves also. So yeah, I mean, just want to see what's out there and if I can make some more cash and just be there for my kids.
Okay. You said you don't want to, miss out on any of more of your kids' life. What parts of their life are you missing out on right now?
I mean,
So
everything.
hang on, pause. We're moving away from the bit that we haven't got to the truth. The whole bit about I didn't figure
Mm.
it out for 5 years is like, it's just bullshit. You need to get to the truth of that, because when you didn't and you carried on, Christian is just so detached now. He's like, yeah, I'll just see what's out there, because he knows that you're letting him off the hook. right? So let me show you another way that I could have done it, because you were kind of trying to copy what I did, which is going to restrict you from getting into flow. You don't have to do it the way I did it. You don't have to say, why did it take you 5 years to figure it out? So I could have said this. Christians just said, it's their entire life. Okay, so up until now, for your kid's entire life, you haven't spent more time with them. Why is that important now?
I mean, I mean, I just keep having arguments with the wife, and even though she's very supportive, she just doesn't see me at home. And my little girls, they're four, like I told you, they're 4 and 5. I've always wanted to be a present father, and I only barely see them on the weekends. And I don't know, I mean, like their birthday, one of my little girls, her birthday was the other day, and we just had a little dinner, and that was it because I had to get back to work. And moments like those just make you realize like what's really important in life. And to me, it's always been just being a father. I've always wanted to be one. Be a good father. My mom and my dad, they were always present. They were always there for me growing up.
So if being a good father is so important to you, you've been a father for 5 years, technically, but you haven't been the father for the last 5 years. Why why did it take that moment, if it did, to shift your reality at that birthday party? What changed all of a sudden?
I guess just the thought of missing out on more birthdays, missing out on more activities with the kids.
What was different about this one though? Because you've missed out on 9 birthdays, 4 from one child and 5 from the other child. And you
Mm.
say you don't want to miss out on more birthdays. You want to be a good father. You've continued to choose to miss out on birthdays because you haven't focused on an alternative way to make money. And you're telling me that now that is not something that you're willing to do. What I'm not clear on is what's changed.
I mean, I don't know how personal you want me to get.
I want you to tell me what is actually going to light a fire under your ass so that you would take action. If we find at the end of this call that we have alignment, there needs to be some burning reason that you actually are going to do a totally different behavior than you have demonstrated to your kids and to your wife for the last 9 years cumulatively, 4 years to one of your child and 5 years to the other child, 9 years of their collective experience. You've not been the good father that you need to be.
I
So
mean, look, if you want to know me missing out and not having the time for my daughter, fuck, like last week, it led to me and my wife having a talk where we might part ways if this continues like this.
okay, pause the role play. You see how I'm just going to keep going until I get to an actual fucking thing.
Hmm.
There's no fucking thing. There's no sale. It's not going to happen. It's, oh, I've got kids. Well, that's nice. They're 4 and 5. That's nice. I'm not spending time with them. Okay, that's nice. You've not been spending time with them for 9 years between both of their life experiences. Something must have fucking changed, and you're going to tell me what it is. You're either going to tell me what it is, and I'm going to bring you into the opportunity to buy what I'm selling you, or you're not going to tell me what it is, and I'm going to unsell you and not offer you the opportunity to buy. That is the way this call is going to go. You tell me what I need to know so that I know that we have a high likelihood that you join the program and be successful, or I'm not going to offer you the opportunity to buy. I'm not trying to get to the pitch. I'm not trying to get to the sale. I'm taking one step at a time. In other words, if I don't get what I need from this part of the call, I'm not moving on.
That makes a
That
lot
makes
of
sense.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that made me realize the lens that you were looking through it. And I think this is me trying to, as well, I need to unlearn some of the old ways that I've been taught selling. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, like pain, 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 get the pain. Whereas the from what I understand, the lens that you're looking through it is like, why the fuck are you here? Like, what has actually changed for this to become a priority for you? Like more of the why now, because we actually haven't got that at this point.
Yes, it is actually still pain though, because how much feeling of pain is someone feeling if they've been doing something for 5 years? They're not feeling any fucking pain. They've been doing it for 5 years. They are not feeling any relevant current pain. But the conversation with the wife is a real pain right now. So I'm not looking for the why, I'm looking for the pain. And you might think that him telling you, I've got two little girls and I'm not spending time with them and they're my world and I want to be a good father. You might think that's him telling you pain. But if it was that
Mm,
much of a fucking pain, he wouldn't be on this call. He would have already taken action. The real pain is the thing that's going on right now as to why we're actually on this call right now. So I am still looking for pain. The conversation with the wife and his wife telling him, we're going to have to part ways because you're neglecting me, you're neglecting your kids, you're not the man that I need you to be. That's why he's like, fuck, I need to take action. I need to book in a call. I need to actually be serious about buying something. And I need to put in the work and take action and solve the problem. That was the real pain. Everything else is like, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, Mr. Closer. He's not feeling any pain about that.
mhm.
Because if we feel real pain about something, it doesn't take us 5 years to fucking act on it. I need to know what the actual pain is that's going on right now. And the reason I knew it was nothing to do with the 4 or 5 years about the kids, because why the fuck are we here today then after 5 years of waiting? Wouldn't make sense.
Mm,
It's logic. It's just pure logical. I'm like, yeah, that's not the real pain because you wouldn't be here. It could have been about the kids, but it would have been something specific. Hey, a week ago it was my kid's birthday, and the other dads came to the birthday party, and I was looking at the relationship that the other my little girls' little girlfriends had with their dads, and my girls weren't even talking to me. That would be real. That would be something different that he hasn't experienced for the last 5 years. But I've got to get to the difference, the real pain that's different now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
All right, let's jump back in. So go back from, the 4 and 5 years with the little girls, because we need to nail that bit of the call, and then you'll be able to close the guy. So
So do you want me to kind of go for more of the like what's changed, like kind of why now approach, or
just dig however you want to dig from the fact that it's taken 4 and 5 years. What's actually going on? Like, you don't know what's actually going on.
okay,
Just ask any question you want. You can ask multiple questions and just try and figure out the truth.
got it. Okay, Christian. So your kids are 4 and 5 now, and you say for the duration of their lives, you have only been spending 22 hours on average per week with them. Why is this still happening?
Uh, I mean, I'm always working, man. I'm always working. I mean, I'm a sole provider for the family, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I just like sat down and really looked for other alternatives. I've seen a cousin of mine get into this 3 years ago, and he's doing very well. But I'm always, like I said, I'm always working.
Okay, and so, you say your cousin got into this 3 years ago. I guess what has held you back from doing the same?
Probably the time, man. I mean, like I said, I'm always working. I'm always just having to put extra hours for work. The weekends I just have Sundays to see them. Other than that, I haven't really like looked into anything. But that's why I'm here, you know.
Okay. And so, I mean, are you even gonna have the time that you can put towards starting an e-com business and freeing up the amount of time you have to spend with your kids?
I mean, if it makes sense, if it makes sense, you know, depending on the ROI and y- yeah, I mean, it depends, right? That's why I want to see how you do this and how you guys just build it, or yeah, just how you guys build it. I have no idea how any of this works, right? Um,
Okay, well, I mean, at this moment of the call, that's not important right now. What is important to me is that we establish, whether or not, if there is alignment, you are at a point where you are willing to allocate the time towards, you know, actually spending it with your kids. How important is that actually to you right now?
oh, a lot. I mean, that's the reason why I'm here. I want to be able to go on more activities. Um, I don't want to miss out on my daughter's just life. I always wanted to be a present father ever since I I thought of having kids, which was for many years. But even though I have them now, I have them. I just don't get to see them as much.
Okay. But like you say, you've been missing out on their life for the past 4 to 5 years. So, you know, what has actually changed for this to have become a priority right now?
Now you've got what you needed, which is to that question. You don't need to ask the question with like leading. So like, what's changed that it's become a priority now? You don't assume that it's become a priority now. Still be detached. So just say, okay, so like it's coming from a place of I'm curious and I don't understand. I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so you've not spent the time with your kids for 4 to 5 years. What changed?
Mm.
Like I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to lead. I'm not trying to move the person towards a sale. I just don't get what's going on. I'm trying to get to the truth. And that's the thing is when you move away from I'm trying to sell and you just move to I'm just trying to get to the truth of what's going on, selling becomes super easy. It's very easy to sell someone once you've got to the truth. The questions you asked up until now didn't really do anything for the sale. I think you know that. The question that you just asked there, as far as like, okay, what changed that now this is a priority? That's better. That's when you're like confused and curious and challenging. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You didn't need to ask the three questions before though. You could have just asked that one straight away. Yeah. So don't be like fishing around trying to get to what you really want to know. Just ask what you really want to know. And when it's coming from a place of like, okay, prospect just told me that he's not seen his kids for 5 years. That's very strange. Just come at the question as that doesn't make sense. So just ask whatever way you want to phrase it. Like, so what I'm not understanding is, why have you not, I guess, done something to figure this out for the last 5 years? However you want to phrase it, it doesn't matter. You can ask it in an infinite number of ways, but just go directly at asking questions to uncover the thing that you don't understand. What all three of us are hearing when we're on this call and this prospect says, I've got two kids, they're 4 and 5, I haven't spent time with them. We're all wondering, well, why is it taking you 5 years to get on this fucking phone call? We're all wondering the same thing. All
Right.
you have to do is translate that into a question that's a little bit more calibrated. That's it. You've just got to take what you're thinking and put it into words as a question. You don't have to think. Your instincts will naturally tell you what doesn't make sense. We all heard him say, oh, 4 to 5 years. And we're like, fucking hell, it's taken him 4 to 5 years and he's only now thinking about figuring this out. We're all thinking the same thing. You just need to be able to calibrate that into a communication, into a question. And there's no exact way that you have to phrase it. It's more important that you're asking the thing that the prospect and is the misalignment. The prospect's gonna know, even if you phrase the question in some weird way, that you're onto him. And when the prospect knows that you're onto his bullshit, he's like, ah, fuck. Like, I'm on the hook here. And then the conversation starts becoming two real humans, in this case, having a man-to-man conversation, not a prospect and a closer having a bullshit conversation. It's two human beings actually having a real face-to-face conversation. So don't worry so much about how you phrase it. Focus on, what am I supposed to be prioritizing that I'm asking questions about? Your only priority right now is asking questions about what's been going on for the last 5 years that's not going on now, or what's shifted from the last 5 years, or why didn't you figure it out for 5 years? Why are you trying to figure it out now? There's a bazillion ways I can ask that, but I just need to get to the truth of that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So kind of just not skipping around it, like what took you so long? Like what's actually changed for you to be here?
Yeah, anything like that. Anything like that. So just go back. Yeah, go on, Christian.
So another thing that every call is contextual, right? Because I've noticed with this call, typically, yes, he wants to spend time with your kids. We would have gone into like, okay, how does your wife feel about all this? How did your kids feel about all this? But the context of the call, he was like, yeah, I haven't seen them in 5 years. Instinctually, I, I'm like, okay, cool. Why the fuck haven't you like done anything? But
Exactly. So the
we
context is that the most important pain, problem, truth, whatever you want to call it, in this call is figuring out that thing about 5 years. In
right.
another call, the context might be, we need to talk about how much money he's making. Might be the most important thing. But just by following what the prospect says and asking a question, and then what he says, and then a question, you'll come to something that you're like, I think this is where we're going to get to a real conversation. And then you have to stay there and get to the real conversation. Yeah.
Mm,
It's different on every single call, which is a good thing, because it's why you should never get bored as a closer. If you're doing the right thing, it should never get boring.
right.
I'm 5 years into this journey role playing with you, and when I'm doing the role plays, I'm having fun. I've been doing this five
Mm,
years, and I'm still having fun doing a role play, because
right.
it's a complete. I don't know where the conversation's gonna go. So imagine if walk to the movie theater and they don't tell you what you're gonna see. You're gonna be having a great time because you don't know what movie
Hmm.
you're about to see. You're like, fuck, I'm so excited. I don't know what movie we're gonna watch. Whereas if someone says, hey, do you want to come to the cinema? And you say, what we're going to see? And they tell you a movie that you've already seen, you're like, yeah, no, I don't really feel like it. I've already seen that movie. I know how it ends. I know every scene back to front. It's not that much fun.
But two things I think that make the conversation just more enjoyable, right? And it's one thing that you said is like getting to the truth, right? But also like having the balls to get to the truth.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we're not dancing around the way that you're like, hey, just fucking ask the question, fuck. Instead of like, okay, like, so how do you feel about 5 years? Like, no, dude, like what have you not done? Why haven't you changed that? What's holding you back? But going straight at it.
Yeah.
Um,
Why hasn't it changed for 5 years, and what's different about that now? Basically, is what I want to know.
Mm.
Ask the question to get what you want to know. If what you want to know is, well, okay, so I'm not understanding here. What's taken 4 or 5 years? Well, I've been working so much.
mm,
Okay, has something changed now? No, I'm still working. Okay, well, if you've been working so much for 5 years, you haven't, in your words, had the capacity to fix this, and you're still in the same position now, where do we go from here? Like,
mm.
if that's what the prospect wants to try and say, then I'm just going to unsell them. They're not going to say that, because the moment the prospect realizes you know what they're bullshitting about, they're going to start
Right.
opening up to tell you the truth. At the end of the day, you're talking to a total fucking stranger on a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
The prospect. The prospect's like, I'm talking to a random person from a business that's trying to sell me something. Why the fuck should I tell him the truth? They're going to try and not tell you the truth in the beginning, but the moment they can sniff out that you're just not having it, it will become a
Mm-hmm.
real conversation.
I think the way I was kind of looking at it was like I tried one way, didn't work, so I was kind of going around looking for different angles. But I feel like
Which
the
is
way
fine.
that you've gone through it is you just keep pushing that way until you
Yeah.
get it, rather than like dancing around it, trying to get in a different way.
Yeah. If at the end of the day, if I've asked 5 different ways about why it's 4 to 5 years and what's different now, and I still don't understand, my philosophy is I can't sell someone something when I don't understand who I'm selling to. Like, I don't understand their situation. So how can I ethically sell them anything? I don't know how to sell someone unless I know the current situation. And there's a key piece of information that I don't understand. I don't understand why his little girls are now 4 years old and 5 years old. And he's
Mm-hmm.
now trying to figure out how to not miss any more time with them. What I don't get the difference here. I don't understand. So until I understand, I'm not, I ethically can't sell someone.
Right.
And
Right.
like you've seen with previous role plays we've done, sometimes the conversation has to slow down to then speed up. In other words, it might take you 5 minutes to get to the one thing that's the truth. But once you've got that, everything else is so much easier. Whereas one of the mistakes with sales beliefs is like, oh, the conversation should have the same pace the whole way through the call. Like I ask a question every 30 seconds. It's like, no, that's not a real conversation. You might be asking the same fucking question for 5 minutes to try and get to one piece of information. But then the rest of the call might just go really quickly. It's not this like pre-planned thing that like, oh, every 15 seconds I've got another question. How do you know? I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get to the truth. All I know is my philosophies are I ask questions until I understand what's going on. That's my philosophy. However long it fucking takes. And if I get to a point where I've asked all the questions I can think of, the prospect won't tell me the truth, then I'm just going to have to unsell because there's nothing else to do. Hey, I really don't understand, what's changed about it taking 5 years for you to figure out a new way of making money. And you've said that the reason you didn't figure it out thus far is you don't have the time, but you've also told me nothing's changed. So I don't know how we're going to have alignment because you're going to need time to do this. Right? I would just unsell them if I need to. But it won't get to that, guys. It won't get to that. Trust me. You do not need to worry about what happens then. It's just get this bit figured out. So do you want another crack at it, Alex?
Yeah, let's do it. This is yeah, this has
Once you
really
nail
changed the
this,
way
this
that
will
I
be
look at
the
it.
yeah, once you nail this, Alex, this will be the next level of income for you. Once you've nailed this key thing. This is your challenge right now is to get past how do I just get to the truth? And I've done other role plays with other members of the mastermind like this, the private ones, and the other members that did it, they were stuck on the same thing. And during the role play, we cracked it. And at the end, they were like, holy fuck, I think I've just like seen the Matrix. Like
Yeah.
once you get it and you feel, it's a feeling, it's not a logic. Once you feel how it feels to challenge the prospect in a respectful way, but a direct way, and get them to just tell you the truth, you're like, oh, now I know what selling is. Now I know what it actually feels like to sell someone. So let's nail it. Have another crack at it.
So, Christine, you mentioned the fact that your kids are, 4 and 5 years old right now, and you've been missing out on their childhood and, on average only getting to spend 22 hours a week with them. And, obviously this has been going on for the past 4 to 5 years. So why has nothing changed?
Uh, well, I mean, I'm always working. I'm the sole provider for my kids, and work just consumes my whole life. So that's why, this ad came around and I thought this might be a better way.
Okay, and over the past 4, 5 years, have you been looking for a better way to actually, you know, change the amount of time you get to spend with them?
No, not really. I
Okay.
mean, I didn't know there was a better way. Like, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but I'm just like I've been just so consumed by work, but I'm just like I'm a bit tired of like not seeing my kids at this point. They're growing older, soon enough they're gonna be 10. I want to be able to spend time with them, go to the park more often, take them on trips. Just can't do that at this pace.
Okay. How long have you wanted to be able to do those things with them for?
I mean, since they were born, man. Do you have kids?
I don't have kids, no, but I guess, for yourself, you felt this way for the past 4 to 5 years. You know, why has this not been enough of a priority for you to, even look to make this change in the first place?
Um, I just didn't know if there was something else out there besides that, something else out there that can, that you can live, work from anywhere, or possibly not even work, like retire. At least I can just control my investments through my laptop and that's it. Until like maybe like 3 years ago that I saw a cousin of mine get into something like this and he's off he's off with his family to many different parts of the world. But anyways, I just sort of like started looking into this. Like I said, your ad came up and I just thought I'm like, yeah, why not just kind of give it a try?
Okay, and that definitely makes sense. But if you've known, for over 3 years now that there is another way, why, why haven't you done anything sooner? Why has it taken up until this point to actually take the initiative to jump on a call and have this conversation?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't I don't know if I just not made the time.
Okay, so what's changed? If you haven't had the time for the past 4 to 5 years, then how are things any different now?
I mean, the kids are getting older. It's New Year's. If not now, then when, right?
Well, I suppose, but you know, your kids are getting older every day that they've been alive. Why, why are things actually any different for that brings you onto this call? Why has I don't know where to go from it. I don't know how to crack this prospect.
Keep going, bro. You got it.
Okay.
Dude, their life is
Um,
on the fucking line, bro.
that's a good way to think about it. That's a
Yeah,
very good way to think about
you're doing the right thing, Alex. You're on it, and like anything, it will take you more effort and more work to nail it the first time you nail it. And then it becomes a sensation. Like, as an example,
Mm.
it might take you 5 minutes right now going in a circle and 10 questions to get there. The next time you do it, it takes 4 minutes and 8 questions. The next time it's going to take you 2 minutes and you'll do it in 5 questions. Lo and behold, you get to the point where you're just like, oh, if I ask this one question, that will just cut to the chase. So,
it. Yeah,
so don't worry about it taking you a bit longer, but hopefully you can feel, because I can feel, and I think Christian can. We're in a different type of conversation right now. We're
for
having
sure.
yeah, I don't believe you. I don't really understand. I'm still going to keep pushing you a little bit. So you've made the change energetically to a different part of the conversation. Just keep playing it out, and you'll feel when you keep cracking him with questions, you'll get to one question and he'll just break, and you'll be like, oh, now I got it. So
I
just
get
keep
it.
going. Just
See, I
see how
felt
you
like I
get
was
on.
just repeating myself, and then I wasn't sure. Then I was up in my head.
Yeah, but you're repeating yourself because you're only doing this basically for the first time.
Mm,
That's why you're having to repeat it. But just keep repeating it until you break him.
okay, cool. That's good to know. That makes total sense. Okay. I guess I'll go with the last question then. Um, okay, Kristen, but you know, you've let this boil up for the past 4 to 5 years, you know, watching their life go by. So why hasn't this happened yet? Why haven't you, taken the action necessary to actually free up that time to spend with them?
Uh, I just haven't really had to put the time to figure something out.
But
Uh,
but why not?
and that's a good question. I mean, I haven't really just like made it a priority. I've that doesn't sound good, but because I mean, I want to spend time with my kids. I want to see my daughters grow up, but I don't think I made it a priority, you would say, to just actually do something about it. But then like I said, your ad came up, and I said, okay, why not? Like, I mean, let's just give it a try.
Okay. But why didn't, why didn't you make this a priority in the first place? Why hasn't this become a priority for you over the past 4 to 5 years?
Okay, pause. So what you just got to there was the truth. That's where you needed to get to.
Okay.
Now I'll
Is
train
this a
you on the
priority now?
not yet. Ironically,
Mm,
we actually need
Yeah.
to dig even further into the whole not a priority. Because let me ask you this, Alex. When he said it's not been a priority, how did you actually feel? Like imagine this was a real conversation. How did you actually feel?
I was like, what the fuck? Why not?
Why not what?
Like,
Tell me
what?
your belief.
Oh, I'm just like, well, why the fuck? Like, why are your kids not that important to you?
That's the
Mm,
question that you should have just
say
said.
it. Say it.
So this
Damn.
is the point. Intuitively, we know what to say. There's just a blockage in our mind that we're like, I'm trying to close. It's like we're here like trying to type in the questions into the fucking Zoom call of what to say, but our mind is actually subconsciously thinking of something different.
Fuck,
And
I've
so
just had the light
you
bulb
got
moment
to the
now.
truth. You got to the real thing because you were like, not a priority? Like what? And like that would literally just be my reaction. Like, why have you not prioritized your kids for 5 years? And
It
It
then
feels
seems
his
so
uncomfortable to
obvious
say
now.
that.
and that's the point. It will become instinctively and intuitively obvious the more you practice this. But you got to the right point. The moment he said, "Oh, because and you know when prospects are telling you the truth because they justify their answer. They'll say, "Hey, man, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I haven't prioritized my kids." And then you say, "Yeah, that is crazy. Why have you not prioritized your kids?" Well, because of blank,
Mm,
blank, blank bullshit excuse. Okay, has something changed? Right. And so we're
Mm.
just into that real conversation, just trying to figure it out. Yeah. So you,
Okay,
you
that's
got to
making a
the
lot more
right bit with the
sense.
priority. Just
Yeah.
trust your instincts when you're like, hang on. And the only thing you have to do is trust your instincts to deliver you the question, but don't trust your instincts to deliver you the emotion. Does that make sense? Because when
Say that
we're
one more time.
listening, trust your instincts to deliver you the words, the question. What am I curious about? But do not trust your instincts to deliver you the emotional charge behind the question because you need to ask the question from a place of detachment and
attach.
curiosity,
Mm.
not from a place of, hey man, why the fuck are you not prioritizing your kids?
Yeah.
Right? So your instinct will tell you what doesn't make sense
Yes.
before you open your mouth. Just tone down the velocity of the emotion and then ask the question. So listen to your intuition. Your intuition is fucking hell. This motherfucker has not prioritized his fucking children. What the fuck? Listen to the intuition and then go, why haven't you prioritized your kids? and then ask the question from a place of curiosity and non-judgment. Whereas our intuition, because it's intuitive, it's inside of us, comes with judgment. It comes with the judgment of whatever we're thinking and feeling. It will tell you the right information, but it will come with emotions. That's why you want to pause and then communicate the question without the emotions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
All right. So listen to your intuition, think about what it just said, and think, yeah. And it's almost like you're having a conversation with your intuition. Your intuition is like, this motherfucker doesn't prioritize his kids. And then the other part of you is like, huh, yeah, that's really curious. I wonder why not. Use this part of you that's wondering what your intuition is saying. You're like, yeah, that's weird. That doesn't make sense. And so you're like communicating with your intuition. But this part of you is the version that needs to communicate the question, not the emotional intuition. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, jump back in. So go from, so he said, this is crazy. I haven't been prioritizing my kids, something like that. Just go from.
Okay. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, like this is gonna sound crazy, but I don't know. I just haven't I mean, I haven't made it a priority. I mean, I've been, you know, been very, very consumed with work. Um, Not to make it sound like an excuse, but yeah, I mean, that's what it's been like for the last couple of years.
Okay. Why haven't you made spending more time with your kids a priority?
I mean, I spend as much time as I can with them on Sundays, and right now, just because of the nature of my job, I mean, that's how much time I've been able to give them.
Okay, but I mean, you're clearly not happy with the amount of time that you're spending with them. So why haven't you, put yourself in a position where you can actually do that?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else or what I could have done until, I saw your ad and it seems something that I can try. That's why I'm here.
Okay, but is this has this not been important enough for you to, actually try and find a way rather than, waiting for an ad to come across your laptop?
mm, I mean, it always has been important. It
Okay,
always has.
so
Pause.
well, it
So he,
doesn't
so,
seem like
so
it's
he, see, so he said, well, I think you basically just came up with what your intuition was saying, which is he said, oh, it's always been important. What is your intuition telling you about that statement from the prospect?
well, I was about to say it's clearly not important enough. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. And so that would be the right thing that we want to know, but it's too emotional. The phrasing is judgmental. The phrasing,
Okay.
the phrasing of the question is too judgmental. So we could convert that same information. We're kind of like, well, it doesn't seem like it's that important enough. You could phrase it into something like, well, you say it's always been important, but you also mentioned that you hadn't prioritized it. And so where is the importance, the prioritization? Where is that at now as far as
Mm,
spending time with your kids? We're
Okay.
still getting that information from a place of curiosity because the intuition was like, well, it's important priority, like these kind of levels are a bit all over the place. If this guy's telling me, hey man, it's really important, it's also not a priority. It's like, well, I can't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Now, to
Mm.
teach you how to have done what we just did there quicker, we could have gone from, I haven't prioritized my kids. And you were like, well, why haven't you prioritized your kids? And he kind of said, oh, I don't really know. I didn't feel like I had a way to make more money, excuses, bullshit, whatever. We could have just cut to the front of all of that with the next question being, okay, so where are you at now with prioritizing the time so that you can spend the time with your kids. And he now has to make a choice. He's either going to tell me again, oh, it's kind of important. It's sort of important. It's not that important. Or he has to make a choice to say, yeah, man, it's now a priority. In other words, he has to put his name on the line now, on record, that he's changed his priorities. So how we got to the truth, we had to get him to say he hasn't prioritized his kids. We then had to kind of challenge that and say, well, why haven't you prioritized your kids? He then gave a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of excuses, which he knows were excuses and bullshit. Even when he said it, he's registering, he's lying to himself. He knows that. We don't need to challenge him on that. We can just say, okay, where are you at now with prioritizing your kids? Because all I need to know for the sale, why he hasn't already figured this out, why is that? He didn't prioritize it. What do I need to know to make the sale? Is it now a priority? That's all I needed to know. The truth was he hasn't prioritized this. Okay, we got to the truth. He knows the truth. I know the truth. He hasn't prioritized his kids enough to dedicate himself to making more money. Fine, we know the truth. I now need to know what truth, what reality do you now choose? In other words, where are you at now with prioritizing spending time with your kids? And if he gives me some wishy-washy answer like, oh, it's kind of a priority, I'd say, well, can I be direct with you? Yes. It's your life and it's your kids. But from where I'm sitting, aside from doing something illegal, the right response, at least in my mind, is that you should be saying that you'll do whatever it takes to spend more time with your kids. And then I would just shut up and let him wrestle with my statement. But the most important conversation that we're having with this prospect is his choices around prioritizations. That's the conversation where the sale is going to be made or lost. In other words, if he wants to continue to not prioritize his kids, he can choose to continue his children to get older without their dad's presence. Or he needs to choose to put them as a priority. I can't force him to make that decision. I'm not going to try to. I'm going to ask him, what are you prioritizing now? I could have said it in that way. So I could have said, where are you at now in terms of prioritizations with your kids? I could have said, okay, what are you prioritizing now? Same information I'm going to get, different ways to ask the same question. The conversation now needs to be around the truth, which was priorities. Priorities. Go on, Christian.
I I I think about like when I just came in the program and what I'm seeing Alex go through right now. And if anything that I can share with you, dude, is like give yourself the freedom, give yourself the actual freedom to just say and be and actually fucking say what you're really thinking. Even though that might hurt or make you uncomfortable, be okay with getting uncomfortable, bro. Because this is where the conversations of you having real conversations, a real call actually like this is where the juice is, bro. But be okay with getting uncomfortable. There's certain things that you want to fucking say, but you're not saying it.
Yeah.
Just say it, let it be free, let it go. No one's gonna die. It's just a phone call.
Yeah, so true.
I
Like
love that.
really
Yeah.
what we all were thinking and wanted to know when he said my kids haven't been a priority is what we all are thinking is like, well, are you still not going to prioritize them? That's kind of what we're all thinking. So that's basically the question. I wouldn't say, are you still not going to prioritize your kids? Because it's too challenging. But the same question is, where are your priorities now? It's still challenging, but it's not as judgmental. It's like, well, okay, what are your priorities now? Where do your priorities lie now? What are your priorities now?
Yeah.
How of a priority is your kids now? Right? Like any way that I want to phrase that, that's the next obvious question to make the sale. Go on, Alex.
That makes a ton of sense. Because the question that I had written down, which I was thinking in my mind, was like, how much of a priority is spending time with your kids right now? But would you want it to be more broad, or was that
No, that's beautiful. That's much better.
okay?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, they haven't been a priority." Okay, how much of a priority is spending time with your kids now? Because it's a challenging question, but it's done in a very calibrated way, which
Yeah.
is the point. Yeah,
No, this is making
Detached.
more sense now.
yeah. Jump back in. You can start from wherever you want to, Alex.
Cool. Um, so we'll go from where I was before, a little bit back. Uh, so why haven't you, made spending more time with your kids a priority?
I mean, it's gonna sound sort of crazy, but got caught up in work. Got caught up in work. Just I've had to do a lot of overtime, and I'm still putting them to bed at night, and I try to. I'm trying my best right now. I'm the sole provider of the house, but yeah, I mean, I saw your ad, and I I, I think I should try something because I don't wanna miss out on them growing up.
Oh, okay. So how much of a priority is spending time with your kids right now?
Oh, I mean, it's a big priority right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that sounds weird to say it like that. It hasn't been before, but right now, I want to be able to change that going into the New Year's. Um, I'd like to be home
Okay, pause.
a bit more often.
Pause. Let me just test Alex here. So, based on what Christian's saying now, hey, I want to do it, blah blah blah. What is your intuition curious about, or
I'm like,
how are you reading what this person is saying? What are you interpreting it as?
or at this point, I'm like, okay, he said it is, but I don't actually have a gauge on how important it is. So I'm thinking like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a priority is this? I want to actually like see how important it is to him.
Okay, and the reason that, and that's fine, you could do it in that way. It's not going to be as powerful, but you're basically saying, I understand that he was here as like his beliefs, his philosophies, his priorities. He's now telling me he is here. What is your brain missing?
What's changed?
The bridge. You're like,
Yeah,
what
Hmm.
changed? Why? So
yeah.
like your intuition should be like, okay, so you're telling me something changed. What changed? Which is coming from a pure place of curiosity. I would have personally phrased it like this, but you don't have to. I would have just said, because it's what my brain is telling me, I'd have been like, Christian, you sound like you're a new man. Like for 5 years, you've not prioritized your kids. You're now telling me that you want to do that. It sounds like, you're like this new person. Like, did you have some epiphany or something? And that's how I would have phrased it, because that's what I'm genuinely thinking. As I'm listening to him telling me, I got caught up in work. And it comes from the words. Like when he's saying, oh, I got caught up in work, you get this image of this negligent father that just forgets to spend time with his kids and he's just not prioritizing it. And then he's now telling me, hey, I used to be the guy that got caught up in work and I used to do this and I used to not prioritize it. Now I want to do different. I'm like, did he get baptized or did he fucking become Muslim? Or like my brain is like, what's going on? Like I don't
Yeah.
Right.
understand the bridge.
We get that.
So because
Oh,
I don't
man.
understand, I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna be like, so it sounds like you've become a new man, Christian. Like, what happened? And then he's gonna tell me the fucking truth. And every time he tells me the truth, he's telling himself the truth. And he's digging his own stakes into the ground on this new truth, this new authenticity. And the more he digs his own fucking stakes into the ground, the more he's committed to the sale, to the change, to
Mm,
living this new reality. So trust your
Yeah.
intuition.
This
We're
is
listening
this is
to
the
what Christian's saying, and we're like, okay, I could believe you, I could not believe you. I'm not exactly sure if I do yet, but what I guess would tell me, should I believe you, is what was the bridge here? Like, what changed? And then based on him telling you the bridge, you'll get a gauge. Do I trust him? Do I not trust him? And then you'll get the next question. The next question will come from whatever the next thing is.
yeah. This has opened my eyes up a lot. I feel like I've been in this mode of like unlearning the kind of scripted way where okay, he says this, so I need to get this. Like he said this, so I need
mm,
to get this part of him. And now it's like, fuck no, I can actually just actually trust my intuition and go off of what actually just makes sense and what I feel like saying. Obviously, without translating the emotional charge from that, but literally just the rationale behind it and putting that into the right question.
Yep. All right.
Damn.
Go back to let's because I want to riff this step by step. So go to Christian, jump back in when you were saying, like, oh, it sounds crazy. I haven't prioritized
okay.
it, blah, 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 blah. We'll go from there.
Yeah, so dude, like, I don't know, it sounds crazy to say this, but I've been consumed by work, and but I'm doing the best that I can. I I just I just don't want more time to go by. I mean, we got like 10 days before the end of the year, and I'd like to try something now, you know?
Okay. Why now though?
Um, I don't want to miss out on more of my kids' lives. I mean, if not now, then when, you know? They're getting older, I'm getting older. If something, if something doesn't get done, then I think I'll be in the same spot next year.
Okay. What's changed for you to have that realization?
How do you mean?
Well, you know
The
you
re
said
the re
you
yeah, the reason he said that is because you cut off the piece of the truth that your intuition was telling you. Tell me if I'm wrong. Your intuition was telling you, but it's been 5 years of them getting older. So what the fuck is different now? They've been getting older for 5 years. There's no fucking difference now. That's what your intuition is telling you, but you cut that bit off the question. So Christian now feels like he can wriggle out of the truth. He's like, oh, he's going to let me wriggle out of the truth. So I'm going to wriggle away. You should have just said, well, they've been getting older for 4 to 5 years. So was there something that's changed? Like you need to keep on the person. The moment that you give them a little doorway, they're gonna wriggle out and say, well, and they'll just come up with some surface level bullshit response and just wriggle out of the truth. When he was saying, well, they've been getting older, all of us are thinking, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's what happens. People get older. So we're all thinking so. And like, if I really wanted on a fucking sales call, if I couldn't think of any better way to say it, I would literally just say, so that would have
Yes.
actually been better than what you said. Cause it's what I'm genuinely like, I still don't get it. Like, let's
Right.
play that out. Christian, you role play with me. So you're saying the bit about, oh, I got caught up and busy with work and blah, blah, blah. And I'll show Alex how, so long as I'm
Uh,
telling the truth, it will go fine.
I mean, yeah, man. I don't know. This is gonna sound crazy, but I mean, I've been just consumed with work, and I'm the sole provider for my family. I'm doing the best that I can. I saw your ad, and I'm like, why not just give it a try? I mean, we got New Year's is right around the corner, and I want to raise my kids. I mean, I want to be present for them.
So what I'm wondering is, given that that wasn't something you prioritized in the past, why are you telling me that you are prioritizing it now?
I mean, if not now, when, you know?
Well, you could have had that mindset for 5 years, but you hadn't.
I mean, that's why I'm here. I mean, I saw the ad and I thought this is something that I at least could give a try.
So you're telling me that it just took you seeing a random ad to want to give it a try to spend more time with your kids? There's nothing else that's given you a wake-up call or anything else?
I mean, I just want to do this. I mean, I want to give it a try. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you here, but
So what I'm trying to understand is that you haven't wanted to do this enough to actually take action for 5 years, despite the fact that your two little girls weren't seeing enough of you. And if I'm understanding correctly, you're telling me that just seeing a random ad was the light bulb moment for you. If I'm being direct with you, Christian, I don't believe you. I'm not saying what you're telling me is not true. What I'm saying is I think there's something that you're not telling me that I would
mm,
like to know. Did you have a
I mean,
recent experience where something shifted for you in your list of priorities?
yeah, I mean, you know what? My little girl got
Okay, pause.
diagnosed with cancer.
You see the point? Like, it will come out if I just keep telling the truth. I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm just not going to move on. And then he'll tell you the real truth. And like
Yeah.
one in 20 or 30 times, they'll be like, no, there was really nothing. In which case I will unsell the person. And I would say, okay, that makes total sense. So, you know, anybody that we would consider bringing into this business opportunity, and it is a business, it requires an investment of time and capital and money and effort and commitment and prioritization. Anyone that we would consider bringing into this business opportunity, they have a burning problem that they want to get solved. And they feel like building an e-com store is going to solve that problem for them. And with you, whilst I can understand not spending time with your kids is a really bad thing, it doesn't sound like you've got some burning reason or motivation to actually get that handled now after 5 years of not getting it handled. And that lack of, I guess, a burning problem for you would mean that we don't have alignment to offer you an opportunity to work with us. And the reason for that is without some intrinsic commitment, the likelihood of you taking action and even enrolling in the program, and then the likelihood of you following through on all of the work that you need to do consistently for 6 months is basically zero. And that would be not in your best interest, and it would definitely not be in our best interest. And so at this moment, I would say we don't have alignment. So I would unsell. Now he would probably turn around and say, oh, well, actually, the real reason is my child just got diagnosed with cancer. Oh, finally, now he tells me the fucking truth. But I'm going to try and get there without unselling. And 98% of the time, you don't need to unsell. You just need to stay in the pocket and do what I was doing with Christian. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep telling the truth, keep telling the truth, keep digging for the truth. And I could see there was at least one time I saw your facial expression when I said something. You're like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking." Yeah, like you're thinking it anyway. So I'm not putting thoughts into your head. You're already thinking what I'm thinking. It's just learning to unthink all of the things that you shouldn't be thinking, learning to be present, learning to be confident to actually say how you actually feel and what you actually think, and silencing your mind so that you can receive these downloads. That's why the internal stuff is so important as well. But you're already hearing what I'm hearing in the conversation. Go on, Christian.
Just as this to Alex as well. Like, did you also during the role play, did you feel like the intensity behind his questions, but the non-detachment behind it? Are you picking up
100%.
on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was very like because what I'm role playing right now is like the prospects that are just like fucking dicks. Like they really don't want to like. But look, if you get past these people, bro, most prospects are gonna be so easy, bro. I'm intentionally doing this because once you like get past this shit, everything else it becomes a lot more easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like
is
I'm
what I
I'm not
needed.
trying to I'm not tr I'm literally trying to just be like, all right, dude, like I already told you enough. Let's move on. But Josh, the way that he does it is like he's very intense. Like you feel how intense the questions are, but he's sort of detached about it too.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
All right. Give it another go, Alex. You've got it. You've got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy, but I don't know. I mean, this sounds a little bit odd, but I've just been consumed with work, and I'd like not to be in the same position come next Christmas where I'm struggling to like just spend more time with my little girls. So I saw the ad and seemed like it's something that it's worth giving a try at least.
Okay, but you've been struggling to make the time to spend with your girls for the past 4 to 5 years. So why has it just taken an ad coming across your screen to actually make a difference?
I mean, I mean, it's if not now, then when, you know? I mean, it's um, it's it's something that I don't like. I don't want to keep putting off for much longer. And yeah, I mean, I d- I just want to try something. And yeah.
Okay, but I mean, you haven't tried anything up until this point. So what's actually changed for you to, want to start trying?
Um, about two weeks ago, my little girl, she's not doing too well health-wise, and it's sort of like put into perspective that I what's more important, which is my family. And that, that moment got me looking into things. And when you just you ask for signs, and I think your ad came up, and I said, okay, let's try something.
Got it. So how much of a priority is, being able to spend time with your kids then right now?
So,
And
okay.
it's
Pause.
Would you want to? So I thought two ways to go there. I was either thinking, okay, he's kind of said it now, or should I have said, okay, why has it taken that?
No, I would have dug into what's wrong with his daughter.
yes. Yeah, bro.
What's wrong with her?
Ah,
Is she dying?
Yeah.
Has she got the flu? I
yeah,
don't know. Because we're on to the truth now. We're actually on to the truth. Okay, but before that, did you feel different when you got to? Okay, good. So you can
yeah,
feel the difference.
100%. I
Yeah.
think I think I think it's now just I'm picking these like mental blocks that I've been taught, like these no-go
Mm.
zones for a call. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with this daughter? But it's just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
You're wrestling with wrong training that people have trained closers. Like, oh, don't talk about that. It's like, talk about the truth, man. So
mm,
long as the truth is relevant to him buying an e-com product, which it is, because he's not spending time with his kids, because he doesn't have a better way to make money that allows him to have more time and more freedom, anything to do with that conversation, we're going to talk about. And then it's just a process of getting quicker and quicker and quicker at cutting out all of the other questions that you don't need and just getting through all of this.
mm. I felt that switch though, which is like. getting literally just to the root of like, okay, what has actually changed? Like actually just getting to the square root of the truth and just not wriggling around that, literally just staying on that point.
Yeah. And let me show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So, the real depth of this conversation is going to go something like this. All right. So, I'll jump back in where you stopped. So, it's okay. So, there's something wrong with your daughter. Can I ask what's wrong with her?
I do I have to share?
No.
She got diagnosed with cancer, and I don't know. Right now, it's been a bit of a shell shock to all of us.
Okay. Obviously, I understand now the reason that you want to get a different source of income so that you can have more time. That makes total sense now. Do you feel you have the mental capacity with everything that you've got going on now to build a business, even with our help?
I have to. I have
Okay.
to.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
So it
I
sounds
mean,
like this experience, because previously you were saying, I'll give it a try, didn't give it a try for 4 years. Now you're saying you have to. It sounds like this experience has completely radically changed your priorities and the way that you're approaching life.
yeah, 100%.
Okay. Can I ask you a challenging question?
Sure.
There's nothing that you could do or nothing you could have done to change the situation that your daughter has cancer. Ultimately, obviously, I'm sure you're wanting to do as much as you can for medication and things like that. But ultimately, if and when, unfortunately, someone gets sick, that happens. But imagine two realities. One reality is your daughter has this illness, and unfortunately, it shortens her lifespan. And for the first 4 or 5 years of her life, you only spent 20 hours a week with her because you didn't prioritize finding a better way to make money. The other alternative is the same thing happens. Unfortunately, the illness has a very bad outcome, and your daughter's life is shortened. But if you'd have gone back in time and you'd have not spent 4 or 5 years twiddling your thumbs, making excuses, not doing anything to prioritize the time that you did have, that you thought you would always have, that now you're realizing you might not have more time. Do you understand what I'm trying to communicate to you? That there's nothing you can do about cancer, but what you could have done that you didn't do is get your priorities straight and take ownership and responsibility of what you could have taken ownership and responsibility over. Is that clear?
It's 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 clear, man.
How does that make you feel when I bring that to your attention?
It's gonna get me emotional right now.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we're going to do with those emotions. Where do you want to go from here as far as what you do to make the most of the time that you have right now, which is the present?
I have to do it for my daughter.
Do what?
I have to find a way to make the time to be before her, make the money to obviously I can't even think. I mean, that's why I say like you almost got me emotional to the point of almost like shedding a tear or crying here. I can't even fathom the thought of her leaving us. So I have to, I mean, I need to find a way on how to make this happen and to make sure that there's not another week or another day that I'm far apart from my family.
Okay. So you have to dedicate yourself to making money in a new way that will give you more time.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, you've been very real with me. You've been very honest. I commend you for that. I'm going to reciprocate that. I need you to be aware so that you can make the right decision that in the very, very, very short term, you may actually have less time with your daughter whilst you're building your e-com store because you're still going to have your current job and you're now going to be building a new store. That might take you 3-4 months before you get it up and running. On the other side of that, we'll talk about this more in a minute, you may be able to quit your 9 to 5 and you may now have an e-com store that's printing you automated money. But I need to be real with you that for the short term, you will actually have to take the little time that you do have and put it into building the e-com store. So knowing that that's the truth, what do you want to do?
I mean, I have no other option.
Okay,
The other option is me just quitting my job, but then I'm like,
that's
how
not
do
an
I pay
option,
for
right?
anything? Yeah.
So you have three options. Option one is you quit your job and you live on the street. Option two is you keep your current job and you'll always have the amount of time with your daughter that you have now and that you have had, or we should say haven't had for the last 5 years. Or option three is you dedicate a short period of time in the upfront to build an e-com store. And then on the back end, you have an automated passive income, more or less passive, and you could quit your job. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Which of those three options are you going to do moving forward?
I mean, look, whatever it takes right now, I just I just want to be able to spend more time with my daughter. I don't care what time I gotta put in.
Okay. All right. We can cut the role play there. You see the point, Alex, like how, and what I wanted you to see is it's not even, I'm not even going to be selling the guy about like your daughter's got cancer and you need to build an e-com store. I'm going to sell the guy on the fact that like, the most painful thing is not that your daughter's got cancer. The most painful
Fuck.
thing is that you now know that you spent 5 years fucking around with time that you thought you were always going to have to now have lost all of that time in the past that now may be coming to the end of the road with your daughter. Like, it sounds bad, but like, I'm going to make him feel even worse about the fact that for 5 years he didn't take action so that he feels even more inclined to take action right now. There was two ways I could have taken the convo. One way is, okay, you're only spending 20 hours a week now. How many more years could your daughter potentially be alive that you've only got 20 hours a week? I'm going to go and dig up the fucking past and make him realize that your daughter having cancer is bad. But how less bad would you have felt if for the first 5 years of her life, you'd been spending 80 hours a week with her? You'd still feel bad, but nowhere near as bad as you feel now, because that's the real truth. The real reason this guy feels shit is not that he's spending such little amount of time with his daughter right now. The real reason he feels so shit is thinking, holy fuck, for 5 years, I didn't commit to spending more time with her, and now she may die. And the most ethical thing you can do on a sales call is talk about the deepest truth that you can possibly talk about. And in this case, it's not that his daughter has cancer, because when someone gets cancer and they're sick, it sucks. But what really sucks is knowing that up until that day that you got the news, you weren't putting in everything that you possibly could have put into your life. That's what really rots you inside and haunts you and gives you nightmares. That's the deepest shit that hurts you. is knowing that for 5 years I fucked around. Does that make sense?
That
I don't
definitely
even
makes
have a
sense.
daughter, but I almost cried, bro.
I
Like, I
wasn't
mean,
sure if you were acting or not. I was like, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but
no, I mean, like, I generally like almost cried because I mean, it's not the cancer thing. I think that applies for a lot of us just in life. It's a life statement that you just went over, and it almost got me a little bit emotional. Just even like I almost like started like shedding a tear at the role play.
yeah. Yeah, because
Ah,
it's a deep, deep, deep thing, guys, that the thing that's going to hurt us most is not the bad things that happen in life. The thing that's going to hurt us the most is the bad things that are made worse because we didn't give 100% in the past up until now. That's the shit that's going to hurt you the most, is the regret and the guilt and the shame of knowing, fuck, I could have made 100 grand a month as a closer, but I just fucked around for 2 years doing one training when I first got into closing and then didn't do any more training.
mm,
Yeah, that's fine until you find out your mum's got cancer and she's going to die. And you're like, fuck, I don't have the money to pay for her treatment because I spent 3 years of my first 3 years in my sales career doing fucking one training and then never investing in myself again and settling for 20 grand a month and thinking that's fine. Yeah, it's fine until you get slapped in the face by reality. And it won't be the fact that your mum has cancer that hurts you. It'll be the fact that you're like, fuck, you know what? I didn't put my life together for the last 2 years and make more money. That's what's going to make you feel like shit.
damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was deep.
I
I
had
mean, dude,
no
that
idea.
was a role
Like,
play. That was deep
Sales
stuff,
done
man.
right is deep, man. Sales done right is really fucking deep. Sales done right is people's lives are on the line, man. Your life's on the line. Their life's on the line. Every day, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you better save the prospect and you better close the deal so that you can become the best version of yourself and make more money and live your best life, as opposed to just rolling up to work and closing a couple of deals with the laydown sales and then taking 4 calls a day that you're like, oh, I didn't really know how to close them, but whatever. No, that's 4 people's lives that needed help that you didn't help. That's 4 sales that you could have made a day. That's 120 a month. If you make a grand, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
when I was at that point of the role play, like from that point, I could never have realized like how many more layers you could have taken that like deeper.
There's so many layers, bro. So many. And like the irony is that, not that this is about me, I could have got to that point within 8 to 10 minutes. And
Mm,
that's just because I've done it so many times that I know what I'm digging for. I'm digging for something real, real, real.
mm.
That's why I remember every one of my calls that I've ever taken. If you told me their fucking name, I would be like, oh yeah, that was the lady that had this and this and this, and this was going on and this happened. I can remember it because it's a unique conversation.
Yeah. I think this is a training I really needed to go through because it was something that touched on when he reviewed my call in the community, and it's something that before like joining the mastermind I just never been taught,
You won't
like
get taught it, bro,
how
from
to
fucking
really
standard
really
sales
like
trainings.
challenge your prospects. And I thought I was challenging my prospects, but I think a new thing for me is as well is like if you have it there, you don't have to wait till the structure of your call. Like if they've brought the thing up now, you don't have to like circle around it like and come back to it. You just tackle that thing then and there, and it's the nuance there is most likely that's going to be the door to the sale in the end if you just tackle that head on. So that's
Yeah.
been like a really new thing for me, and I think this is like an area that on the weekly calls like I just need to stick with and bring up till I can actually like really master that, because I feel like that's gonna be the difference in my commissions, like the biggest jump.
Yeah. It took me months to master this, like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. I don't remember exactly. But like people look at my results and they're like, how did you make 100 grand a month within 12 to 18 months of getting into sales? It's like because I focused on learning to solve the hardest things in the beginning. Like within my first 6 months of learning sales, I was like, I want to master this thing that we're doing now. And I nailed it within probably 6 to 12 months. And then it's like, you nail this and your income just goes through the fucking roof because you close everybody, every single prospect that's closable. If you can do this, you close them. There is not a single prospect that is closable that you don't close, other than your internal mastery stuff, as in like you're having a bad day and then you bring your bad shit to the call and then you don't fucking figure out how to go deep. That's why you have to do the internal and you have to do scriptless selling. But you're never going to lose a sale because you didn't have the skill set. You might just lose it because you weren't fucking doing your daily routine properly, or you had too much shit going on in your personal life that you brought it to the call. But when you nail both of those two things, scriptless selling, going deep, getting to the truth, and the internal mastery, you will close everybody that is closable, which is how I made 100 grand a month. Like I literally didn't not close somebody that I pitched. My close rate was 93% on pitched calls. It was like you're basically closing everyone. So, all right, guys, any other takeaways or any other feedback on that?
This is going to take me a while to process this. This has been super helpful, though. This is like the exact bottleneck that I needed, and I had no idea we'd go and tackle it on this call. But yeah, this has been helpful.
Excellent. Remember, like if you've got a sales call and this is the beginning and this is the end, and you've got a straight line, turning up to the call, closing the deal, as you go through the call, it's a straight line, and you get this big blockage, this big thing that you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know how to handle this. If you go around it and then carry on, it just comes up at the end of the call as an objection or as a no sale. When you're going through the call and you find the big thing that we're all listening on this role play thing, oh, well, I don't really believe Christian, the prospect. That's the thing that you got to go through it. You got to break through that thing. And then you just go, like we said, up, out the call, few little questions about the future and why e-commerce and why the specific brand name, and you close the deal. And you don't get objections. You don't have to do follow-up. You don't have to do any of that BS. But if you get through the call, you find the big thing and you're like, I'll just go around it and I'll just come back to it later. No, you won't come back to it later. You'll just not close the deal. So just remember, straight line, find the thing, spend the time solving the problem.
That's a really good model. That's very helpful, actually. I feel like I'm at the point now where I'm just like finding that friction because I need to actually just start unlearning what I have learned. And I think going in with the old perceptions or the lenses that I was viewing the sales call through, now with the amount that I'm learning with this, it's actually counterproductive. So I just need to forget, like completely throw it out the window and literally just view it through that lens of like, if it's there, tackle it head on, but also just trusting your intuition to actually come up with the answer without the emotion behind it. So yeah, that's super helpful, Josh. Thank you.
My pleasure, brother. All right, guys, any questions?
No more from here. If you can send us this or post it in the community, which I'm sure you will, I will definitely be going back over this.
100%. Christian, anything to add?
To me, it's just stuff that we got to take care of outside of this. I mean, outside of just frames, outside of the questions, we got to take care of our fucking personal lives, man.
Yeah, you have
I
to.
think all of these things just become so intuitive. But as long as, like as you say, right, we got to have a big goal, a big why, something that we're driven by, and then all of these things, like these questions, just become so intuitive. Um, and it's just so cool to see Alex like practicing this, because
Yep.
you like you said, Josh, once he just like goes through past this, it's like it almost feels like you just won the lottery.
It will. Yeah. You'll feel like you won the lottery. You'll feel like you broke the matrix. You'll feel like, holy fuck. And like, number one, you're going to make more money. But number two, you're now like, holy shit, I can transform human beings. Like, I can literally
Yeah.
change people with my conversations. That's like, as far as changing your own sense of self-worth, your own sense of importance in the world, your own sense of meaning in life, your own sense of, holy shit, I'm a successful person. You can feel all of that because you've got money in your bank. But the real feeling is when you're like, holy shit, I can literally stop time, change reality through my conversations and questions, and push people off to have a better life. There is nothing more fulfilling than that. When you
Priceless.
do it, there is no price that you can put on that. So
Man, this is
Sure.
so cool. This game is so cool. It's so good, man. It's so good. I feel so energized.
Yeah,
But thank you.
100%. Yeah,
my
thank you, Josh.
guys.
I'm gonna bring this to the live trainings, and the next training I wanna get through this. But that's like my aim at the moment. Like get through this stage of the call. I know that this is literally gonna be the biggest needle mover. But yeah, appreciate the time going through this, man. Like
My
the
pleasure,
the
guys.
attention to detail is just fucking insane, as always.
My pleasure, guys. I'm going to do my outro and then I'll say bye to you guys and we'll kick off.
So
All right. So there you go. That is a scriptless discovery. We covered a lot there. We covered how if you actually tune in, your intuition will tell you the questions. You have to manage communicating those questions without judgment and without emotion. But scriptless selling, running a scriptless discovery, is really about having a truthful, authentic, no BS conversation. We also then talked about how you have to go deeper, much, much, much deeper than you really think you need to be going. And that is how you don't get objections. That is how you don't have to do follow up. That is how you don't lose sales on the phone or on a Zoom call with people that needed your help, people that came to the call because they know that they need to fix something in their life and you let them down. And if you let them down, you won't get paid. So these are the things that you need to be doing on a scriptless discovery and on your sales calls. If you want training on this, if you want to be a part of these role plays, if you want to be a part of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, where we train scriptless selling and the internal mastery, there will be a link somewhere around this video. Click the link, take a look at what we got inside, and I might see you inside the mastermind soon.